Hey B, welcome to your cool down stretch. So we are going to be starting with downward dog. So for this one, start from standing, kind of fold in half. I'm going to do this one in real time with you, so you can do this as a follow along. So we're going to get to that downward dog where you are stretching out that hamstring. Okay, so we're going to hold here. Then we're going to do calf stretches. So we're going to kind of walk out that calf just by alternating which heel's coming up. So if you want more of a stretch, kind of push into it. Look for that in the hamstrings. And we'll just kind of walk that one out. Do this for a little bit more. You're probably getting pretty tight hamstrings with all this working out. They're probably feeling a little sore with all those deadlifts. So enjoy this here. Perfect. Then you're going to walk those hands back up. Yeah, I'm moving my feet so you can see it in the camera. Then you're gonna come back to standing. We're gonna come back to this half fold. So you can start with hands on shins, but you wanna kind of just relax. So just relax all through this low back. And just kind of hang here. Do this for 15 seconds. Get my timer out so I'm honest. Okay, you can do this fold. You can have a slight bend in your knee. Sometimes I find a slight bend will stretch a little bit more into here. But if that deadlift hold feels good, you don't also have to go as deep as I am. If you're here, just kind of loosening up the back, that's good too. I just like to feel like a wet noodle when I do this. Good. And come on up. Woo, take a minute for that blood to get back to your head. Next, we're going into a forward lunge. So you can put the knee on the floor this time, no holding yourself up. But this time I want you to think about pushing your hips to straight, right? So typically we sit in this tipped back position. I want you to tip forward in the lunge, okay? So we're tipping forward and almost pushing from here, okay? So that's really gonna stretch into this hip. So just think about pushing forward. Feel free to do this outside too. The grass is much nicer on the knees for this. Okay, and lean into it a little bit more. Stay here for a little bit, just really getting into those hips. A lot of us have tight hips. You and I are no exception. Finish out another 10 seconds. Try to push a little bit more forward if you're feeling loose here. And tilting those hips, let the hips be the ones to move you. Finishing it off. There we go. Perfect. We're gonna switch legs. Same thing. Start by getting those hips tucked. You'll feel even a difference. Just play with this. If you kind of can't feel what I'm feeling, do an exaggerated hip pop. Booty out, booty in. Try to make that bum disappear. That booty out is what puts stress on the low back. Booty in is what makes us feel that stretch into the hip. So make your bum disappear, okay? And you can even put your hands on your hips. I like to feel the difference. We're gonna stretch that out. Same thing, pushing forward. And just kind of relax. Make that little bit of pain you're feeling down there put you to sleep, because it feels so good. Good, we're gonna go back on the other side and do this, but in this position, I want you to reach up and then tilt towards that bent leg. Okay, so you're kind of, I'll do it facing you a little bit more, kind of leaning in, right? So we're gonna pull through here, and you actually wanna feel the pull through here, but then you wanna feel a deeper pull into your hip. So this is getting a muscle called your iliopsoas, which is a deep muscle that connects back to hip. And this often doesn't get stretched enough, but that little bit of pull will get into that muscle. So it's really good to help your back. Good, we're gonna finish that deep hip stretch on the other side. So get back into that lunge, tilt the hips forward, and then we're gonna pull. I like to put my elbow to my head because I find it just helps me use my head almost like leverage to really focus on pulling. Straightening out my knee here. That cool down is the best part of your workout, hey? Your endorphins are high after the workout, and then your body just gets to relax. It feels so good. Awesome. We're gonna come down into 90-90. So one leg is crossing in front, the other leg is an L behind you, and you want to kind of get your hips somewhere in the middle. Now I'm actually kind of on a hill, so my form might not look perfect, but you want 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, okay? Sit in that middle, and you can just gently lean chest over that front leg. And actually when you do that, you feel it deep into the glute. Sit here for a minute. You can kind of play around with this too. Like if you're not feeling it in the glute, just kind of adjust where you're sitting. Like maybe sitting a little bit more neutral really gets the glute. Maybe leaning back a little bit. We're gonna go into the back, so don't push that one too much right now. Trying to find a spot in this middle forward hip position that's gonna target those glutes. Okay, because now we're gonna switch, and I want you to almost rotate and grab your back heel. So I'm holding my knee, I know you can't see it, and my foot, which is right here. See if you can see that. Okay, so now I'm kind of rotating. This is getting a little bit more into my hip. I apologize, this isn't the best camera angle. Okay, we're gonna hold here for another 30. Good, trying to really let that deep glute and hip get stretched. Again, you can play around with this too. If this lining up and that exact hold doesn't do it for you, kind of move to where you're feeling, oh, I'm tight there, and hold that. Kind of breathe into it. You don't want to force anything that's sharp pain, but you can kind of embrace a little bit of that uncomfortable stretch pain. Okay, so we're doing this on the other side. 90-90, I've got this one in front of me, this one back. We're gonna start with chest, kind of towards the front, or again, you can just go neutral for this. And you really change what you're stretching by where your hips sit. And if you're like me in the garden, you just brush off the occasional ant. I love a good hip stretch because it feels like it just gets everything. Gives you a little bit of relief from back pain usually. Getting rid of back pain permanently takes a little bit more work of strengthening, but part of that process is getting those stretches in. So it feels like another notch in the belt. We're gonna rotate to that back, so you can either grab foot and knee, or you can sit wherever you're feeling comfortable. Maybe you wanna even go deeper than that, and like rotate back, but either way, you're trying to get into that glute. Good, kind of ease out of that. Awesome. Now we're gonna go down a little bit more glute hip action for our figure 4 stretch. So you're gonna lay down on the floor, You're gonna bring your one foot onto your knee. You can choose to either just pull the top of the knee towards your chest, or you can wrap your hands through and pull that leg. This, you should feel the stretch on the outer side of this glute, the one that's bent. I'm gonna hold here. Get another 10 seconds. Ready? Can you switch sides? So other knee to, or foot to knee, and then hold and pull. Done. Another 5 and 1. Perfect. You can come on out of that. Next we are hopping into just a hamstring stretch. So just the classic sit with your legs out, nice and wide, kind of sit on the back of those hips, and we're going to go forward between them. I like this one. It's just simple, straightforward, but it's always so good, especially if you spend the time here. So you can pause this and do this longer than I'll do for the sake of the video. But yeah, it's such a simple but effective tool. So you can see me. I'm just really I'm gonna work my way forward slowly as I stretch down. You may start here. That's great. Reach for those toes. And then as you get more and more loose with the stretch, you can sink deeper. I should really get a picnic blanket next time I do this. I'm getting ants everywhere. We'll sit here another 10 seconds. And then come up. Last one for today, we're gonna get that upper body. So you're gonna find a spot to lay on the floor. You're gonna lay on one side and you're gonna lay out your arms like this. Next, you're gonna bring that arm up and overhead and your gaze is gonna follow your arm. Kind of stretching through that back and then bring it back. We're gonna do 10 reps of that, nice and slow. Just kind of opening that chest. I actually feel a nice stretch through that back as well, that thoracic spine. And last one. I lost track a little bit there, so because I'm so relaxed. So that's not quite 10, you can add a couple more. Do this on the other side, so just roll on over, stack those arms, and reach back. I get a nice crack in my back when I do this. I'm at 5 there. And you can slow these down more than I am. This is the last one, that's 10. Awesome. Cool, well hopefully you had a good workout and you're feeling relaxed and you'll be ready for Friday.